Well, I have been suffering from BDD, body dysmorphic disorder, and it was really bad. I was no longer leaving the house. I even kept the curtains closed because, I was worried that someone might look through the window and just get a fright from seeing like a hideous monster. They might just get a heart attack, and I was like, shit, I don't want to give someone a heart attack. And I also didn't really want to feel self-conscious any more than I did in my own house. So yeah, I didn't leave the house. I closed the curtains. I just spent hours and hours just sat in front of the mirror, just crying. So yeah, I decided I needed to stop seeking therapy because of that.
He wasn't doing this for himself. He was doing it for the people he believed he could help. And I guess that's how he ended up there. That's what people saw.
I've always suffered of OCD. But after I had my daughter 2 years ago, my OCD got way worse. I got to a point where I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything. I was always thinking that Hannah got hurt, and that I might have hurt her somehow, or all that. And I lost my job, and my relationship with Leslie was getting worse and worse, and I didn't know how to get out of that, So I started seeing some therapists, but they were not helping. I went to see 3 of them before finding Simon, and for the first time, I was very skeptic about him as well. But with him, after a couple of weeks, I started understanding that he could actually help me. He would listen to me like no one else did before, and I felt like he really could understand what I was feeling, like my nerves.
He must have been something special, surely, for them to let him in. He must have had some sort of something extra, because he cared. I know he cared. He knew he cared. He believed.
Simon was helped me in a difficult time. Yeah. He was there. My father died, and Simon helped me through it, and he just made me talk about my feelings, and he helped me. Yeah.
Speaking to some of Wetherby's patients, I got the impression that his methods were much more hands-on than the traditional approach. He was getting involved in the lives of his patients, even in the case of Tamara Sprouse, babysitting her daughter to help with her obsessive-compulsive disorder.
I think what the good thing about it was that I actually had to face with my nerves. I had to control them, to feel them for a long, long time. Because usually when I have a thought about checking something, about doing something, I just go and do it. Because if I don't do it, I feel worse and worse and worse. So I don't have much time to feel those nerves. But in those cases when he had to babysit Hannah, I just had to survive. I just had to wait and deal with those emotions that I was feeling. And that's maybe because I've never done anything like that. I couldn't ever be that brave to not do those things that my brain was telling me to do. That's maybe why it worked, because I was forced. I was forced to do it, yeah.
Well, I've seen a lot of different counsellors, and yeah, I didn't like them. They were really shit. Like, they were really expensive and really shit. And, you know, like, one of my first counsellors I went to, I kind of explained to him that I just sort of felt like I had a really mannish body because of my because of all the exercise I'd been doing, and that I just felt really ugly because of that. And you know, he just said, "Oh, why don't you just stop working out, stop doing gymnastics?" It's like, you're not a personal trainer, you're a counsellor, you're supposed to fix this.
Yeah, Simon helped me remember my father. I think there were lots of things that I chose to forget, and Simon helped me work through those. You know, he was almost, you know, it's almost like a friend, a professional, you know, but still a friend that you can talk to and listens to you when, you know, no matter what you say. And he helped me. He's a great man.
When I said to Simon that, you know, I spend all day sat in front of a mirror crying, he was like, right, we're gonna go to your house. And when we got to my house, he threw out all my mirrors and he said that you're going on a mirror detox. And I've been on a mirror detox ever since. I have not looked in the mirror for 2.5 months now, and I feel great.
And I think he was doing that for the better of the people as well, not just for the money like people are saying right now. It wasn't just about that, because yeah, it was taking my money, but those therapists that I saw before him, they were taking my money too, and they didn't even care about me. Well, with Simon it was different, and he really cared about me, he really cared about getting me better. And he did.
Simon also said to me that I should just sort of fill my days with activities all the time. Like right now, filming this interview with you guys, that's an activity. After that, I'm going to go to the pool and I'm going to swim. After that, I'm going to read for an hour.
Simon, you know, he's great. You know, he's such a good friend, but a professional as well as a friend.
After that, I'm going to watch Black Mirror. After that, I'm going to watch Prison Break.
All his methods were so professional. He was.
After that, I'm going to watch Gossip Girl. After that, I'm going to vacuum the apartment. After that, I'm going to brush my teeth. And then after that, I'm going to go to sleep. So, my day's filled. And that's what Simon told me to do. And it's great, because that way, I don't spend hours thinking about how I look.
Well, I believe from what I've experienced before, they would always, all the therapists, they give me tasks to do on my own or with my partner. They would never get involved into the task, let's say. But with Simon, it was different. He really put himself into helping me and into the task, and then, you know, I'm sure it's not a usual thing to do for therapists, but since I trusted him so well, and since I saw him as a person that I could really trust, I went for it.
I mean, he's made every difference. Simon is not just a counsellor. He's my spirit animal.
You know, I've never been able to actually face my anxieties. Every time I think about something, or if I think about that I need to check my dose, I go and I do it, and I go and I do it, and again and again and again.
I put it to Professor J. Pollock that Wetherby's practice and more unique approach might offer something that more orthodox methods do not. Would there be a place for people such as Wetherby?
You know, if you want a more relaxed approach, then by all means do, but I think that should be something more for the lower level sort of cases, if you will. Not to belittle people's obviously personal issues, but I think if it is something low level and manageable, then of course talk to a friend, talk to people like Wetherby, but for more serious issues, trust a professional, trust somebody who has been trained, and go and see individuals like myself and the plethora of other individuals that are on hand to help.
Unfortunately, as we've been made aware, he wasn't a professional. He shouldn't have been giving professional advice. So yeah, it's a yes/no answer for me, really. Unfortunately, I feel he's clearly helped lots of people, but he's done it in the wrong way.
After I met Simon, I really started changing, and of course I still have my OCD and I still have to deal with that and control myself, but I started working again. My relationship with Leslie is actually going way better now, because he was falling down, it wouldn't have worked out otherwise without Simon. And I can relax, both at work, both at home. I know that my daughter is safe now. Sometimes I still think that she might, get hurt or something, but I still can control my OCD and I can go back to like a normal status, and that would have happened without Simon, and I really don't know what would have happened of me and my daughter and my relationship with Leslie, and yeah, my life really changed, and I hope I'll keep being like that now that Simon is gone, because if I need him again, I can't have him back.
Simon's not a bad man. He would have only wanted to help Emily. You have to know that. He would have done his best. I'm sorry that he didn't manage to help her.
He was out of his depth. I think, again, it came from a good place, but it's something he just was not equipped to deal with.
Well, I think he should get an award. I think he should be on television, He's a great man.
I mean, it doesn't make a difference to me. Like, why would it make a difference? I've been to a lot of counsellors, and they had credentials and they didn't know what they were doing. They were piles of shit. And I think that they should be practicing, they should be, they should be actors or something, because all they do is repeat lines. How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? How does that make... That's not even an actor, that's a parrot. I could have gone to a parrot and they could have done the same job. So obviously Simon is better at their jobs than they are, even though they've got credentials, so it doesn't make a difference to me. I think credentials are overrated.
When I set out to make this film, I thought I knew what the story would be. Now I'm not so sure. I've heard from grieving parents of a tragic suicide. I've listened to the opinions of experts and heard the testimonies of some of the many patients who reached out to me to defend Wetherby. One thing we know for sure: Wetherby is wanted by the police, and when he is caught, he will have to answer for his actions. Did he contribute to the death of Emily Jones? Or was she so ill that anybody who tried to help would have failed? Was Wetherby a con man, preying on people? Or was he actually trying to help? Perhaps more important than his motives, did he actually help? Was he able to provide something that the mental health services could not? Simon Wetherby, fraudster, or just the person his patients needed?
Simon
wherever you are right now, I ask you to bring yourself forward.
I'm sure he had dozens of other patients.
My daughter's life. She's gone.
Simon Wetherby.
I need to know why she was feeling this way. I just want to understand. You need to know who you really are.